Hey guys, I need to work on my speaking skills, so I'm going to practice with you every day. Never Give In, Winston Churchill speeches, selected by his grandson, Winston S. Churchill. Bought this over at Bliss Books and Bindery, I think is how you say it, over off 9th Street here in Stillwater. Cool book. A lot of the stuff is not going to be contextual or relevant or particularly stirring because they have to do with political issues in England during his political career. So at the beginning here, we're starting from back when, before he's Prime Minister, he's in the House of Commons, lots of stuff's going on. So gonna give it a shot, bear with me. I'm gonna try to do this daily. So daily Churchill speeches, here we go. And also I'm not memorizing these or performing them, I'm just reading and speaking them to kind of get used to it. So not a performance here. I'm going to be looking down, reading from the book. Okay. We're starting in 1916. I've already done a little bit here, just reading on my own, but I thought I'd do it out loud so I'd have some record, and maybe we'll find something inspiring. I don't know. We'll see. The first thing that strikes a visitor to our armies in France or in Flanders, and I make no doubt that our armies in the East exhibit a similar condition, is the very large number of officers and men in the prime of their military manhood who never, or who very rarely, go under the fire of the enemy. In fact, you perceive one of the clearest and grimmest class distinctions ever drawn in this world, the distinction between the trench and the non-trench population. All our soldiers, all our officers are brave and honest men. All are doing their duty, a necessary duty, and are ready to do any other duty which they may be asked to perform. But the fact remains that the trench population lives almost continuously under the fire of the enemy. It returns again and again after being wounded twice, and sometimes 3 times, to the front and to the trenches, and it is continually subject, without respite, to the hardest of tests that men have ever been called upon to bear, while all the time the non-trench population scarcely suffers at all, and has good food and good wages, higher wages in a great many cases than are drawn by the men under fire every day, and their share of the decorations and rewards is so disproportionate that it has passed into a byword. I wish to point out to the House this afternoon that the part of the Army that really counts for ending the war is the killing, fighting, and suffering part. This war proceeds along its terrible path by the slaughter of infantry. It is this infantry which it is the most difficult to replenish, which is continually worn away on both sides, and though all the other services of the army are necessary to its life and to its maintenance, and I am not in the least disparaging their importance and their value, it is the fighting part that is the true measure of your military power, and the only true measure. All generals in the field make their calculations in rifles, but my right honorable friend knows well how immense is the disparity between rifle strength and ration strength. We have suffered together disappointment in hearing that armies, so imposing on paper, so large in numbers when they left our shores, were whittled down by calculations of rifle strength by the generals on the spot to 2/3 or even lesser fraction of their total number. Like him, I have rebelled against that calculation in the past, but nevertheless, I have come convinced that it is really the true and proper method of computing your war effort at a given moment. Every measure which you can make to increase the proportion of the rifle strength to ration strength will be a direct addition to your war power, and will be just as direct an addition to your war power as if you ordered new classes of recruits to join the colors. Nay, more. It will be a net addition and not a gross addition to your war power, if I may use the language of business. And after all, this war is becoming in many aspects to resemble a vast, thorough, hideous business. I would say that the rifle strength actually under the fire of the enemy is the dividend. Everything else of the whole vast military effort may be classed as working expenditure, the result of which is the production of war power. The object of the army is to produce war power. Everything else takes place leading to the lining up of men in battle is the preliminary steps by which the final result is achieved.